One of the things that I absolutely love about Treyarch and their map design is that there's no shortage of every small detail possible. Whether it be just filler content and some jumbled nonsense that makes absolutely no sense, there at least is the detail into specific things within maps. Whether it's a post-it note or a folder that has some text scribbled on it to make it look more alive and realistic to fit the environment, or if it's something that actually is an Easter egg hidden away in the depths of a map that you have to fine comb meticulously to find, it doesn't matter. Treyarch ends up putting that into the game, and Black Ops 4 is no exception so far. Right now we already have one map that gives us a very interesting look at what may be the future of Black Ops 4 and potentially the specialists we end up seeing throughout the year. We already had confirmed to us months ago that Black Ops 4 looks to expand upon the operator and specialist system that we have currently in place and expanding on the 10 that we are given at launch, plus a few more throughout the year. So we already know that more are going to be coming, but as for who, we don't exactly know, but we may have some hints pointing to that already just a few short weeks after launch. So today we're gonna take a look at this and give you guys the information surrounding the possibilities here of these specialists and what the future might hold for Black Ops 4. So let's just jump into it. Firstly, right out of the gate, I wanna thank my good friend Prestige is Key because he actually was the one that brought this to light, this first particular instance. The other things that we're gonna discuss are a little bit more compounding on this and building a stronger case here for this. But first, we're gonna jump in with a little look in at an Easter egg on the map frequency. If you're like the many players that jump into the game and just simply play to play and don't really pay attention to the lore behind multiplayer, you might not notice exactly what the map frequency is. It's a surveillance compound for the Worldwide Surveillance Bureau, which ties in with the lore of the specialist stories because that is who keeps an eye and keeps the tabs on all of the specialists within the story. But when you take a look at it, of course, you do see that surveillance nature. There's a bunch of different monitors showcasing a ton of different locations. A lot of them are actually different maps throughout multiplayer in Black Ops 4. You have your classics like Slums, Jungle, Firing Range, Morocco, Seaside, Summit, Hacienda, and pretty much every map that there is, there's some inkling of a hint as to those on any of the monitors in the map as well. Additionally, there is, of course, stock footage and different overall global maps showcased as well, but on top of all of this stuff, there also are specialists listed. Among them are Ruin, Seraph, Firebreak, Recon, and Battery, some with more locations around the map than others, a lot of them focusing on Seraph, Ruin, and Battery, but Firebreak is listed as AWOL on one of the wall panels. Then we have Recon, who is listed as missing in action, but he's also queued up on some of the table consoles as well. But we end up seeing some specialist biographies of sort on some of the wall monitors for Ruin, Seraph, as well as Battery. We end up seeing that it just gives basic general information about their backstory, which falls in line to what we already knew with Black Ops 3's multiplayer storyline. But additionally, we end up seeing 3 monitors in particular in this main surveillance room that are just static, that don't really have much discernible from it, but if you look closely with either in-game a sniper rifle, or if you go back in theater mode and watch it in slow motion, you can end up picking up some key phrases and key terms that give away who this bureau might be keeping tabs on. But let's take a look at these a little more in depth and see what we can pull from this. If we take a look at the monitor to the right of Aaron Battery Baker, we end up seeing that we have one describing a character of unknown origin with assassinations of high-value targets, especially in well-guarded locations, generally considered as bulletproof, and is the suspect in numerous killings of prominent global political, military, and civilian figures, and one final mention of a single wound made with a surgical blade. This one sounds rather simple if you have played Black Ops 3. This one to me is easily Spectre. Nothing was really known about Spectre in Black Ops 3 and the MO fits perfectly, especially given that surgical blade remark. So perhaps this is the first indication as to seeing Spectre in Black Ops 4, and we might actually have more tie-ins with this because as of the specialist missions, we may actually know who Spectre is finally, based upon those missions and the backstory given within the Specialist HQ. But we're gonna be breaking that down fully over the weekend, probably going more in depth with this, but it seems like to me, no doubt Spectre was referenced here in this specific instance, and maybe seeing a return as a result. The other one that we have a more relative grasp on who this may be comes below Donnie Ruin Walsh's profile. This one we end up seeing the keywords of Rosinia, educated in an international mission, BDA, OPESP, Zurich, and Zurich Defense Forces. This one fits the profile of Outrider. From Black Ops 3, we actually see quite a bit of these matched perfectly from the bio that we are given back then, and we first find out that she did grow up in the Rocinha favela of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Straight out of the bio, we also see matched perfectly that she was raised in a mission, and another perfect match is the inclusion of the bio stating that she joined the Special Forces of the Brazilian Army, the BDA OPESP, at 18. And later we also find out that through Black Ops 3's lore, she was with the Zurich Defense Forces as well. So another great match here with this one, and pointing directly to Outrider, showing up as being tracked by the WSB, and potentially again pointing to a future inclusion in Black Ops 4. But there is one other monitor that is located within this that is slightly to the right and in the middle of the 3 monitors on the same wall as the Outrider Teased. This one though is a little different because it doesn't describe anybody that we know within Black Ops 3 or anybody that we've seen any mention of thus far within the Black Ops universe. This one, the keywords are anarchist, system intrusion, Berlin subculture, constantly moving, limited footprint, and black hat hacker with a history of large-scale political motivated pranks. So we might not have any information right now as to who this specialist may be from previous lore within the Black Ops universe, but we might have it tie in with a 4chan leak, put that in air quotes, because of course with all 4chan leaks it could be credible but it also could not be. That's the problem with an anonymous message board site, but it could also be a perfect way for a leaker to get info out without truly compromising their identity. So the plausibility of this is simply just undetermined currently. But that leak went on to detail a new specialist named Mountaineer who supposedly has a shockwave barricade, an electrical taser-like shock effect that fires out projectiles of electrical nature. So maybe with the inclusion of an electrical and perhaps hacker-like stature, maybe this is who this is referring to. If that's the case, we, according to this leak, may also start seeing teasers for this specialist as what is described as early November, so pretty much any day now. But I'd venture to guess that if this is the case, it'd be more so around the 1 month mark or so for Black Ops 4, so give it like a week or two. But again, that's all assuming this leak has any credibility behind it. But it was something that I found interesting that the timing of this came out right before my friend Prestige ended up finding this specialist notice. So when we get down to it, it's quite curious because, again, Treyarch are known for leaving the breadcrumbs right in plain view that may lead to something later. I mean, in Black Ops 3, we had even down to the weapons in showcases and weapons in barrels turning out to be weapons that we see in-game for, say, melee weapons and even ranged weapons. I know that if I'm not mistaken, even as early as DLC 2, the map Rift had a showcase of weapons that were added in all the way throughout the coming months within Black Ops 3. So it's very possible that this is something that teases upcoming specialists, and with an undetermined amount of specialists coming throughout the year, we already know that multiple are coming, so why not throw in some classics and some fan favorites that could really spice up how Black Ops 4 plays, plus the inclusion of brand new ones, which very well may be this anarchist character that we just learned about. But additionally, what piques my interest is that this isn't the only amount of specialists that we've seen so far within the Black Ops 4 lore. If you remember back to the comics that actually set up some of the origin stories for the specialist that we see now in Black Ops 4, we also had the mention in Prophet's origin comic, the reference of Blackjack and also the inclusion in character form Reaper. Prophet actually went on a little mission to get Reaper back. He was repurposed as a junkyard robot after he was decommissioned, so it's very possible that we see those two characters. And the reason that I find this part even more interesting is that chronologically, Prophet's origin comic was very close to the air quote present day of Black Ops 4. I say that because obviously Black Ops 4 takes place in the future still, but his comic took place very close to the present day of the Black Ops 4 storyline. So it's not like these characters were wiped out or they don't exist or they're not around yet. They're currently there within the Black Ops universe in this multiplayer storyline universe, but they just haven't been introduced into multiplayer just yet. And that leads me to believe that we're going to be, of course, getting more specialists like we already know, but also more storyline missions as time progresses so that we finally get a full picture of what this multiplayer universe is like by the end of maybe what would be DLC 4 times later on in the year. So July, August, September, around that time, maybe we end up seeing the full story finally come into view. We have some of the pieces right now, but not everything to make the puzzle up just yet. But no matter what way you spin it, whether you want to think that these characters of Outrider and Spectre and what may be this new Mountaineer specialist come to Black Ops 4, and potentially the Reaper and Blackjack specialist returning as well. Blackjack already is going to have his own spot as the Blackjack shot, so my guess is he's going to be back at some point. In what capacity? Maybe just playable, maybe sort of like a Monty character from Black Ops 3 where he's there and in the storyline but not playable. Maybe that's how it works, but regardless, however you want to spin it, it's definitely interesting that this was included right in plain view in something that we walk past almost maybe on a daily basis when playing multiplayer. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of this? Do you think that all of these specialists are going to be coming? Do you think this is who is going to be coming? Or do you think that maybe none of these specialists will be coming? They're just kind of rounding out what's there in the universe of Black Ops 4's multiplayer lore. Let me know your thoughts though. I'd love to hear them down there in the comment section down below. Get as crazy and in-depth and deep into this as you guys want. I love reading into this stuff, so feel free to hit me with it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, multiplayer, blackout, zombies, anything regarding any of that. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding the best of tips, tricks, updates, news, information, all that good stuff. We got you covered. So subscribe if you guys are new, want to stay up to date with all that. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So those links are down there for you guys to check out if you guys want to. But all that said and out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.